back to the Dave Nemo Show.
We're broadcasting live here from Anaheim, California. Actually, we're recording while we're actually broadcasting live from Anaheim, California. We're over the Media Interviews and Content Creator Zone here at the ACT Expo in Anaheim, California. Big thanks to our friends at Ryder for making sure we could make the trip. We're having conversations this morning with a whole bunch of influencers and movers and shakers. The Regional Vice President, West of Volvo Trucks of North America, Jared Ruiz, joins us this morning. How are you, sir?
Great. Thanks for having me here today. Really exciting time.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about electromobility leadership. Let's just kind of jump in right there. That, you can understand what that means simply from the words themselves, but talk about where Volvo positions itself to make that happen, to take point.
Absolutely. I mean, you bring up a good point here. So leadership, I think there's a lot more that comes with it than just, results, right? And taking leadership means that you also go through a lot of learnings and you experience a lot of different things up front, which is what we did when we brought out our new technology, when we launched our first generation battery electric trucks here in North America in 2019 and 2020. When we really started with our Volvo Lights project. We wanted to prove out what building an electromobility ecosystem really is, with all the partners involved that it might be included. Not just us, the OEM, to produce the trucks, but also the charging infrastructure providers and their solutions that are needed, the utilities that have to be involved, other regulators that have to be involved, air district authorities, funding that has to be available. So we worked together and brought all those partners together to prove out the model, what it means to do it. And then we built off of that and launched commercially in 2020. And we were able to bring some of the pioneers, some of our customers on board with us and be able to lead that forward in 2020 and beyond. So every year we're building off of those learnings. And then we're able to basically, you build a bit of a template in what a project is for electrification. And once you've built that template out, you can then copy it and apply it to other customers and other situations.
Well, it does two things, I think. First of all, by building the template, you build a certain level of comfort.
Absolutely.
Which means every time you enact one of these projects, you've already got buy-in, because so much of what leadership isn't just saying, we're going to do this, now do it. Part of it is actually watching people's faces when you tell them what the project is, go from maybe concern or not understanding and watching the light bulb go over their head. When you do that as a leader, what you're doing is you're getting people to buy into the project. Do you feel like now, and also those people then become influencers as well, they then go to the new partners and say, no, we've been doing this for a long time, right?
Absolutely. I think it builds confidence in the process and what is capable in real life, right? Because I think that prior to that, we heard a lot of, kind of dreams or, what could be, and but we wanted to prove it out, what can really happen. So that builds confidence in all the partners that are involved, right? And it makes them want to do more. And I agree with you, then it kind of snowballs and it creates more opportunity there.
There is nothing better than somebody actually, not you, but somebody you've worked with, going to somebody new and saying, look, man, I know, but we've seen this work before. We're going by the same playbook we did before. The reason we're here is because we're doing next what we did then, right? So it's a matter of transporting what has already happened, making the adjustments, and then using the same model to kind of move forward, correct? And that allows you to kind of follow your sustainability goals, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And we see that with some of the charging solution providers that we've worked with, where they're, they gain confidence, they provide new opportunities and leads to us, and then we do the same, right? It's reciprocal. So once you get that synergy going, I think it's a really, really exciting thing to see.
So talk to me a little bit about, each time, because you're using a model that has worked before. Talk to me about, before you actually talk about the next step, who you work with and how you actually put together the next package based on what you've already accomplished, but there are going to be new challenges each step of the way. Before you kind of unveil the larger plan to the larger crowd, you've got to figure out how to take the previous plan and then breathe expansion into it. How do you guys go about doing that, and when do you know you're ready to roll out to your larger group of partners?
Yeah, I think it's all about assessing the different sites and the customer feasibility, right? So size, scalability, and the site. Really, those three S's are a big part of really, understanding what you're starting with and what the differences are that you're talking about. because a lot of that varies based on not just, people think that it's this many trucks, this many chargers. Well, the fleet also has a certain way of doing business, right? So they have a certain way of dispatching, managing their driver pool, and then also any other operational needs that they have, how the flow is set up on their site for the trucks to come in and come out.
The geography. The
Yeah.
geography of the location in which you're moving those trucks and those chargers to determines everything, because I can tell you right now, chargers in Oregon ain't the same as chargers down here in Anaheim, are they?
Absolutely, yeah. There's different space limitations in each location, and you have to work around that. You have to understand what that is, what real estate you have or don't have in that area, and what you could build upon, right? Is there additional area or site that you could acquire or build on or develop? I mean, that's something to consider depending on the size of the fleet. And I think if we realistically identify that together with the utility early on, that's the one thing that we constantly promote, is not just us, the OEM, getting in touch with utility, but really the customer. The faster that they can establish a relationship with their utility and make it known that, hey, we want to consider a project in the future. We want to consider battery electric. The sooner that they can have those conversations with the utility, the better the project will go and the more successful it will be, because then you can then be on the same pace together from the start.
Well, and that brings up the last point. We can talk about geography all we like. We can talk about infrastructure all we like. At the end of the day, it still comes down to emotional landscapes. That each individual partner has their own set of needs, their own set of hopes and dreams, and their own set of concerns.
Absolutely.
And you've also got to kind of do your advanced work there, too, to figure out who you're dealing with at the most basic human level, which brings me to the ACT Expo. It's a chance to interact with a lot of people. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of events like this for helping get you guys further down the road?
Yeah, I mean, we're very grateful for all the virtual opportunities we had during COVID and to still maintain contact, but there's really no substitute for the in-person networking that you get in an event like this at ACT Expo. I think it's really valuable to be able to shake hands with your partners and be able to have some back and forth conversation in real time and make connections with new partners, right? I think it's very important, especially there's new entrants coming to market at all different levels, right? Whether it's in the charging space or truck production OEMs, other consultants that are stepping into the scene and want to participate, suppliers. I think it's important that we all have some opportunity to get to know each other a little bit better and network in different ways. And I think it's interesting because there's lessons learned when you're out here in person that you might share with each other that you maybe wouldn't have otherwise without being at this event.
Well, and at the bottom of it all, it's fun.
Yeah,
you get a
absolutely.
chance to actually talk to human beings and establish relationships, and those relationships make that emotional landscape that we talked about so much easier to navigate. Jared Ruiz has joined us this morning. He is the Regional Vice President, West, Volvo Trucks of North America. Are you going to get to do anything fun while you're out here?
I'm just going to enjoy the great weather here.
Kind of fantastic, isn't it?
It's perfect right now. We have some great events planned together with our customers, so we'll be able to partake with them in some good dinners and have a good time together. So some of our folks are going to some sporting events and things like that. So
there's nothing to do out here. By the way, there's absolutely nothing. I mean, we're not moments from Disney World, Disneyland. We're not moments from Chavez Ravine or Anaheim Stadium for the Angels. Nothing ever happens.
Nothing out here.
We got to take a break here. Thank you so much for making time in a very busy schedule. Jared Ruiz, the Regional Vice President, West, Volvo Trucks of North America, has joined us this morning on the Dave Nemo Show. Go to radionemo.com. Subscribe over there. Subscribe on our YouTube channel. It's channel 146, and we'll be back live from Anaheim. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.